In the eyes of a woman, the man's body rotates 2.5 circles. Mao Zedong immediately threw away the iron handle in his hand. Suddenly, the glass of the bulletproof glass on the 33rd floor of the building shattered. Then he quickly walked forward, looking at the smoke under the building. Then he turned around and carefully observed the surrounding layout. But the woman behind seemed to see the man's intention. She was in a hurry to persuade him not to do anything stupid. But in the next second, the man had already tied the rope to his body. In everyone's shocked eyes, the man rushed to the window and jumped up. But because the railing was too smooth, he accidentally fell down. Fortunately, he caught the roof of the house below in time. The parents were shocked by this sudden scene. They hurried to pull the rope to pull their son up. But this is more dangerous. Fortunately, the woman next to him immediately reminded him that he had done something stupid. Everyone began to loosen the rope carefully. Their lives are now tied to the man. Without the help of his teammates, the man reorganized his state. He used all his strength to climb up. His family relaxed when they saw him, but they didn't expect the man to sit up again. They only saw him wrap the powder brush, put it on the ground and kick it. Then he tied the safety buckle on his waist and picked up the stick on the ground. He shouted and ran to the higher floor. Such a shocking scene almost made his mother faint. The man also breathed a sigh of relief, but it was impossible to go back. The poison gas was getting closer and closer. He clenched his teeth and climbed up the wall again. He soon reached the top. The man fixed the rope. Then he held the protruding stone and tried to look at the body with his feet. His right foot just touched the stone pillar. He didn't dare to hesitate and jumped over with his body. In order to see the position of the man more conveniently, the family downstairs turned on the video live broadcast with their mobile phones. The parents were also shocked. Soon he began to climb towards the window, and below is not only the abyss, but also countless poisonous gas. If it weren't for his frequent training of arm strength, I'm afraid he would have fallen due to dislocation. With the help of his girlfriend, the man smoothly came to the other side. After he made a simple adjustment in place, he continued to move carefully to the side. Looking at the smooth wall above, he smeared a handful of powder ash. Then he tightly buckled the crevice on the stone sculpture. He climbed up with difficulty. He had to be very careful in every step. Even a little mistake would make him disappointed. Time went by. I don't know how long he climbed, but the man had to stop. The rope tied to his waist became a burden. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't make the safety rope longer. There was only one choice in front of him at that time. Looking at the skyline in front of him, the man knew that only by untying the safety rope could he maximize the benefit. If he went back the way he came, not only all the efforts just now were in vain, but once he went back, the man came to the last level without any protective measures. The man's whole body was working hard, but as he made a shadow upward, the teeth on the statue suddenly broke. The man lost balance and almost fell down. He tried his best to hold the statue's nose. Although the nose was strong, it was very hard to hold it. The man took a break and then shrunk his legs into a ball. He rolled up like a big toad. The intense exhaustion made the man breathe heavily. But at this time, it was urgent to save people. He hurried to open the door of the rooftop. The whole family was saved. At the same time, the outdoor player asked everyone to take out their phones and send out SOS rescue signals to the sky. He went to the power station to control the light. As expected, not long after, an airplane came slowly. As the rescuers put down the iron cage, everyone ran into it in fear. But when Yua rushed to the power station to try, she was told that it was already overloaded. At most, she could only go in one more. At a critical moment, the man rushed to ask the other party to at least take his girlfriend with him. Hearing this, his girlfriend let go of his hand. He hoped that the other party could live with his family. The man didn't know the so-called waiting for the next helicopter. It's just a matter of course. Just now, they worked so hard and finally called a helicopter. He would never leave his girlfriend alone. In this way, the two had to stay for the time being. Not knowing how long had passed, the man knew that he couldn't sit and wait. So they came downstairs to look for a life-saving anti-poison mask. But there was only one anti-poison mask left. While his wife didn't notice, the man secretly changed it. His wife found a fingerprint on the front. The man who had already changed the mask didn't care at all. He asked the other party to stay away from him. Under his wife's bitter plea, the man couldn't leave. Soon, the poison gas spread over his thigh. He was about to die. Yua didn't want to wait to die and climbed up high. Fortunately, he had years of climbing experience. He climbed up in no time. Looking at the poison gas that was close at hand, Yua couldn't even dream that the man who had always doted on his husband would abandon himself and leave alone. Desperate, the man slowly climbed up. It turned out that he had gone to a more dangerous place to look for the mask. He didn't tell his wife because he was afraid that she would worry. After helping Yua change the oxygen, the man knew that he couldn't stay here for long. So they wandered around between the buildings of the building. Finally, before the oxygen ran out, they found a safe gym. But the situation here was not over yet. The poison gas was still everywhere. I'm afraid that in a few minutes, it can completely cover the entire floor. At a critical moment, the man plans to go to the opposite building to try his luck, but the two buildings are thousands of miles apart. It's hard to get through Ur. The rope at the entrance of the city was about to break, and she hurriedly got on the man's back and took out a tool money from his backpack and let the man grab it, and then cut off the back of the rope without hesitation. The parachute instantly became a swing and led the two to the other side. But at the critical moment, the rope suddenly fell off, and the two no longer had a support point. They desperately fell down the stairs, and their live broadcast was cut off at the last moment. Countless people cried, and the government was also under pressure and sent the last helicopter to this devilish city. But when the rescue helicopter arrived, the firefighters searched around for a long time, but there was no other discovery except the broken safety rope. However, on the way back from the rescue team, they saw someone standing on the top of the tower, and they raised the fireworks in their hands. After the festival, the two of them could not hide their joy in their hearts, and they were excitedly waving their hands. Finally, they were saved before the new year came.